Welcome to another episode of building whatever the heck I feel like building. Yeah, I really wanted to say that. In fact, I literally wrote it in my notes. Anyway, so as you can tell by the thumbnail and title probably of this video, I'm going to be building a dining room, which is actually my favorite room of houses typically, assuming they have a dining room. So this is the one I'm going to be making. It's actually pretty simple, so this is going to be a chillaxed video. It's actually not as simple as you think, because over here, I've already attempted to make it, because I was recording actually. This is my second time recording the same exact video, and it failed, okay? Like, this looks too bad. I can't post this, I'm sorry. And also, do you see the cursor? What's wrong with my cursor? Why is there a cursor on top of my cursor? Pretty weird. Anyways, this is gonna be attempt number 2 for a dining room, which I literally said this is gonna be simple and laid back. Believe me, it's not. It's a deceptive build. Deleting this. So I'm gonna try to obviously do it different from the method I used last time. I used the dish cabinet thingies, and it just didn't look nice enough, okay? So this time I'm gonna combine counters and basic shapes. Also, the hardest thing is trying to get the proportions right, because the fireplace in this is pretty small in terms of its width. It's pretty thin. But in Roblox, like in Bloxburg, it's pretty big, and not just that, you also can't adjust the width, which really annoys me, because you just can't. You can just only change the height. Yeah, so instead I'm just gonna use these counters, and then using basic shapes, I'm gonna try to build the shelves. These shelves. Actually, hold on. What if instead of using basic shapes, I just use an empty bookcase and then just make a thing? Gotta admit, that kind of works in my opinion, but I'm not gonna go for it. I'd rather use basic shapes. Alright, let me tell you guys a story. This is back in 10th grade, and it was my first day in school, and it was a new school, by the way. And it was the first day of school. Actually, it was my first day of school. It was the second day of school. I've missed the first day because, don't ask why, I totally didn't skip. Anyway, so I showed up to my first class, and everything went as normal, right? It was the last minute of class. By the way, it was math. So if the teacher is watching this, just know I hate you. He gave me a really bad grade, okay? So during the last minute of class, I literally pulled out my phone. In the last minute of class, he wasn't even teaching anything. I was just waiting for the bell to go, right? And the dude literally pointed a single finger at me. You, come here. And he literally said, I'm giving you a pass. See, I'm supposed to take your phone, but since this is your first time, I won't. Now return to your seat. He was really mad, by the way. And I gotta admit, even though it happened like almost 2 years ago, I'm never gonna forget it because I hate him now. Like, what do you mean? Why can't I use my phone in this class? Like, you can use a phone at least where I am, in like every class, even during the class. It's pretty chill. But this teacher, not chill at all. And by the way, he was short. I know that I'm not that tall myself, but I think being under like 5'5" makes you a villain. I'm sorry if you're under 5'5", please don't hate me. This is a 5'6" speaking. I'm just kidding. I'm 6 feet, obviously. I actually have no idea how tall I am. Anyways, I just can't forget that experience. I just hate him. Teachers just like being mean. I think that's the truth. Maybe it's because they enjoy having power. I don't know. I really don't. Okay, now this is actually looking good, I think. You always gotta add the I think, because it might actually look ugly. Now that I think about it, I think I'm using the wrong counters. Which one fits better? I have literally never seen these counters. I think I'm gonna settle for the rustic ones though, because it kind of matches better with the picture. And now the next step, which is what I messed up on in my last recording, is trying to add the fireplace part, the part in the middle, this part over here. So what I messed up was like the proportions, like how big this is. Because the fireplace is huge in Bloxburg, and I tried to make the wall like the correct proportions, but since the fireplace was so big, it was literally extending over these bookshelves. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how I'm gonna overcome that. Watch me fail and have to make a third recording. I think the cursor that I've got is supposed to be a new cursor, because like when you hover over an image, it's got like the thing, the finger, and then like on a search bar, it's got the other thing. Okay, now that I think about it, what on earth is that cursor supposed to represent? Why is it a line? It looks like an eye. Okay, now that I look at it, I think I messed up the proportions once again, but I'm just gonna ignore it. And by that I mean the bookshelves are way too wide. Like, look at the image over here. It looks pretty compact and small, but this is definitely not compact and small. Actually, no, I have to fix this. This is just it just doesn't work. What if I just have a single counter? This doesn't work either. Well, I guess I gotta use 1.5 counters. Alright, this is gonna be very tricky, but if this works, then should be no more problems because everything else in the build is quite simple. So I'm gonna have to use basic shapes for the walls. So I'm gonna have to use the half walls to like place one over here. Guys, I think it's coming together. Oh my god, it's actually coming together. The last attempt went so horribly bad. The whole time I was just crying. Not really, but I was internally crying. This is literally perfect. And by perfect, I mean the proportions are perfect. I hope that everything else turns out perfect. Anyways, let's return back to the topic of school. So I guess school's gonna start up once again, and this time in person for everyone. I've been online for literally a year. And also last year, because we switched to online during March, so it was like the second half of the year. So everybody transitioned to online, right? And I did none of the work. See, I'm not really a good role model. If you're a parent watching this, you should click off right now. Yeah, so I did none of the work because I'm just a little, like, you know, I was doing YouTube instead of doing my schoolwork. I thought I'm gonna fail every single class. Hey, as I said, I'm not a good influencer, okay? Here's the thing. I believe that I am the luckiest human ever because none of the grades counted. So if you didn't do any of the work in the second half of the year, they just take your mark from the first half of the year and give it to you. And good thing for me, I actually tried really hard in school during that part of the year. So I got pretty good grades back. And to be honest, I don't think anybody did the work in the second half of the year. Because I remember getting emails every day from my teacher for like new assignments. And I just pretend I didn't see them. Now that I think about it, my parents never asked. Was I hiding it? I don't even remember. Anyways, let's return back to the build. I'm so happy this is actually turning out the way I wanted it to turn out. I mean, the last one was so bad to the point where I deleted the footage instantly. Now I wish I kept it. You could have heard me struggle. What's like a really subtle texture? I've always been trying to find one. So there's like wood, I guess. Wood's probably the closest one. Well, wood looks like a default texture because it usually is. I think metal kind of is. Leather maybe. You know, it would be really cool if you can change like the transparency of the texture. You probably don't know what I mean, but if you do understand what I mean, then you get it, right? Also, I have one life hack. So say you're using a color. So for this example, I'm going to use institutional white. So you see how bright it is? And let's say you want to make it darker, but like there isn't a color that's darker. What you can do is literally just get the metal texture and it'll make it darker. And the good thing about it is the texture is literally identical to smooth plastic. But in this case, I'm just gonna use something else. I don't know what I'm gonna use. Alright, so I'm sort of done with the basics over here. So let's look at the picture once again. Well, I think our next issue is gonna be the wall trims. Because as you may have noticed, these are now walls. So I have no idea how I'm gonna do those, so I'm gonna leave them for last. See, if you don't know how to do something, just ignore it. If you ignore it long enough, maybe the problem will disappear. I don't know. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna do the decorations. So it's obviously a bunch of books once again. It's always books. And then this window thing, it's got a little ledge and a curtain. I have to figure that out. Probably use shapes or something for it, like cylinders. Alright, shouldn't be way too hard. And this part's got a wall trim, pretty big one, so let's add that real quick. Okay, this is actually coming together pretty nicely. I think one of the biggest struggles is like trying to translate these items into Bloxburg items. But other than that, it's actually pretty fun. Now it's time for my favorite part, like my favorite thing to decorate, which is the table. I've already added some stuff, but like the plates, it's pretty easy to do because you're just placing down the same thing over and over again. But it just adds so much detail. So I'm just gonna give everybody their own plates, their own glasses, their own utensils, and it should look pretty. And finally, we've got to add the napkins. Perfect. I love this. I really want to add this, but it's way too big. It literally would have been perfect. Well, this one kind of works better, actually. Okay, so for the ledge, I'm going to be using basic shapes once again, obviously. And for the curtain, I have no idea I'm going to do that, actually. Because in this picture, the curtain is like over the ledge. We'll figure it out. This is gonna be my first time using this window. This is like the only way I can replicate the curtains, but it's not perfect. Blame the picture, okay? If something doesn't work for me, just blame the picture. It's always the picture's fault. I can't wait until we can actually resize plants. It's gonna be amazing. I mean, the more stuff they add that are like able to be resized, the better this game becomes. I just love resizing stuff so much. I say that in every single video, but it just makes everything look so unique. It's like eye candy. Now that everything is colored and textured, it looks so nice. So I think the last thing is gonna be the wall trims. Oh, that's gonna be a real struggle. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to use basic shapes for them as well. I'm gonna use the same technique I used for the ledges. I do think that that's close enough, so I'm just gonna start copying and pasting this for like every single wall. Guys, I think I did it, and I think I'm proud of it. I mean, I think they look identical. Oh no, I didn't color these. See, I told you. Even when I thought I colored every single one of them, of course I didn't. Okay, now I'm done. Okay, let's check this out. Actually, let me add a ceiling. Always forget those. Now I'm done for real. Oh, this is actually looking so nice. I mean, if you compare it to what it was before with like the dish cabinets on the sides, it was so bad. I wish I had the footage for it. Actually, now that I think about it, it's probably my recycle bin. Anyways, it was horrible. I had already tried to do it like twice during that video and they both failed. And here it is, an exact replica. This image, that image, this image, that image, that image. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with how it turned out. Alright, so that's gonna be it for today's video. If you wanna like suggest or like give me pictures of stuff you want me to rebuild in Bloxburg, make sure to email it to me, which is anixrblx@gmail.com. So it's anixrblx. And if it's good enough, I will rebuild it. Believe me. Just make sure there's like a lot of stuff in it. I don't want like to build a box, an empty box. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.